Welcome back. It's time again to Ask the Attorney, and here with us is Mike Marion to get some of your legal questions answered. We're talking a little bit about wills today. Mike, thanks for being here with us. Let's get to our first question. I am the executor of my father's will. What do I do when he dies?
Well, as the executor of the will, the first thing you got to make sure you know is where the will is, because if you don't know where the will is, then it's going to make things a lot more difficult. However, once your father does pass away, you need to take that original will to an attorney as soon as possible so you can start making the necessary arrangements. There's different ways to probate wills in Texas, and an attorney is going to be the best able to help you figure out what works best for your situation. Basically, the executor is responsible for gathering up all the assets of the estate, making sure the debts are paid, making sure those that are set to inherit actually receive what they're supposed to receive.
Okay, and our next question goes along with the first. Where's the best place to keep my original will, and who should I give copies to?
Well, we get asked frequently, you know, who should I give the copies to? What should I do with it? Obviously, your will is a very private thing. It's between you and whoever you trust or who you want to share that with. And so as far as giving copies, I would only give copies to people you truly feel comfortable with and that aren't going to go sharing what your estate is, because some people may not know what you have or don't have. The best place to keep it, well, that's wherever you keep those important documents, like your life insurance policies, your deeds, your titles to your vehicles, things like that. That's where you want to keep it. Some people put it in a safety deposit box. You can file it with the county clerk's office if you'd like, but those things make it a little bit more difficult for an executor to get a hold of it.
What about a person who changes their will often?
That becomes
or threatens to.
That becomes more problematic because you always have to find the most current will. You got to know where that most recent will is. And so if somebody has changed their will, then they need to destroy the old originals and just stay with the new one. Unless they've just put what's called a codicil, just an amendment kind of thing to the original will, then that should be attached to the original will.
It could be interesting to have different copies out there saying different things.
It'd be very interesting. And then you have to go look at the date that the will was created, because usually one of the first things when you draft a new will for somebody is it says, I revoke all previous wills. And so the most recent one is going to govern as far as how things are going to be distributed, but it's just a matter of figuring out which one is the most recent will.
All right, and our last question here, can I be charged with shoplifting when I never left the store?
Answer to that is absolutely. I've been involved in a number of cases where people have picked up things and on their way out of the store get confronted. The issue with any kind of a theft isn't did you actually deprive the owner, is did you have the intent to deprive the owner? So if you've taken an item and you've stuffed it down your pants or concealed it someplace and you're on your way out, then absolutely that still counts.
All right, thanks, Mike. And we get your legal questions answered right here every Wednesday. If you'd like to submit questions, you can do so on fox4beaumont.com.